Hello, you guys. So, I wanted to talk to you today about my weight loss journey. It's been quite a few weeks since I've discussed it with you guys, and I just want to talk about if things are changing, how things have gotten better or worse, etc., etc., if they're the same. And I just want to tell you that I don't know if it's because we're in the swing of summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, but it is definitely improving. I have actually lowered the amount of herbs that I am taking because I'm running low, particularly on my stinging nettle root, which I am getting a new shipment coming in a couple of days, but I just took my last one today, so hopefully it comes tomorrow, fingers crossed, because I do need it. But basically, the reason why I haven't updated you guys is because it's been a lot of the same. So it's still been a lot of me having estrogen episodes, then they recede, then I feel better, then I'm okay, and they've kind of gone longer and longer as time has gone on. So they're less and less often. Today, however, I had a really, really bad one. So I woke up after sleeping for about 3 hours. I had digestive distress. I had to rush to the bathroom. And after that, I woke up today and I was having an estrogen episode pretty bad. I was feeling very anxious. I was feeling extremely irritable, even sad and emo. I've been listening a lot to Hello by Adele, which is extra. I haven't cried or anything, but I've been feeling like the past, and it's such a weird thing to feel like the past. I feel like how I felt years ago. I was really listening to that with my first love in mind and how I felt back then, because I felt the same emo-ness that I felt then. It was the weirdest feeling. It's so weird. I've talked a lot to some of you guys in private about my Saturn return, and it's very emotional. It's in a very emotional and private area of my chart. It's a private house. It's the 4th house. And it really has been weird. I feel like I'm going through everything again emotionally, while my external life is incredibly stable in comparison to where I've been emotionally. That's really been where most of the action has been. So I have found I found some answers within when it came to my relationships, especially relationships with men. And I've really come to understand that I really do need support, particularly from my man. I just do, in order to feel okay. I'm really coming to terms with my own femininity, which my femininity is very obvious. When I go out in public, when I talk to people, they see me as very feminine. When I'm online, I'm very feminine. But my mom told me, she was she's like, you do have a masculine side and you do not back down. She's like women tend to back down. She's like, but you don't. And I looked at her and I said, but what if I told you that for me to not back down, it took a lot out of me? And maybe you just never knew that. It's a lot of pain and a lot of, it takes a lot out of my mind, my body, my soul to be that way. And she was like, wow, because I was just talking to her about when I was living in the garage with her ex and the kids and just everything, and how men and women are in this weird issue in society right now where we've really been at odds in certain ways. This comes from Teal Swan. Teal Swan made a video about it, and it was the most beautiful and incredible way I've ever seen this explained before. And I probably should talk about it in more detail, but it basically gave me clarity on what my issue with men has been. And I understand now that because of issues with my dad when I was a child, and that relationship being very damaged, I saw, like a man taking care of me as a man controlling me or imposing his will upon me. And I found that, like, regardless of anything, it's not even just men, it's like in general, like, I need to be taken care of. Like, it's a very feminine trait to need to be provided for or cared for. I like the word that Teal used, to be fended for. Like, you need somebody else to fend for you. You can do it for yourself, but it's at great cost to both your mental and physical health. And I totally understand that, because for the past few years, I have been fending for myself, and my health has broken down. My moods are crazy. I am incredibly depleted. Physically, emotionally, everything. I am more depleted than I've ever been in my whole life right now. And I understood, like, that's why I moved here. Like, I was never going to be happy living alone, having no support, even if I could make all my ends meet and I made more money there, and it was so easy. I could just go to Whole Foods and eat whatever I wanted every day. I couldn't stay that way. I was dying out there. And I don't know if you guys know that, but I really was horribly, horribly dying. In a lot of ways, I lived the feminist dream. I achieved it, and it was so awful. I just can't. It wasn't supposed to be that awful, And I've understood now, in today's day and age, that things are not so black and white. There's a difference between being independent, a strong, independent person, and being empowered. Me, as an empowered feminine person, I can finally say, I need to be supported, but not controlled. Because they are two different things. I need one, and I need to not have the other. When I was young in my life, I was very supported by my family and my friends, but a lot of my family and a lot of my friends, well, not a lot of my friends, and some of my friends were very controlling over me. They imposed their will over me, and I had no say. I had no power in my life. So I started making changes. I did all this crazy stuff, and I've had to live on my own, particularly since 2015, like not completely on my own until 2019 and 20, and even parts of 2018. I really had to fend for myself, like those past 3 years, which you guys have seen. And I see that that's when my teeth started rotting. That's when I started losing my hair. That's when I started aging really fast. That's when I started having really bad anxiety spells. And when I started having just so many different symptoms that got so much worse up until last year, because I was living this feminist lifestyle completely in my studio apartment by myself, on my own, strong and empowered. And it was killing me, And so through Teal Swan explaining that, it helped express and make me understand why I chose to let go of that and move here. Because being here is being supported by my mom, by my grandma, and I support her too. Like, we kind of support each other. Being here is being in support. That's why I did it. And the second I got here, my metabolism started changing. Like, I couldn't do keto anymore. I didn't have that attitude anymore. And I had to start making changes. And I understand it. People that are more masculine, they need to take care of people. And we need to be taken care of. But I think what was so hard, and what's been really hard over these past 10 years, is just understanding that being taken care of is not the same thing as being controlled. Being provided for or fended for is not the same thing as being controlled and dominated and oppressed. They are very different things. And I thought in order for me to get rid of one, I had to get rid of the other. And I see now that was such black and white thinking. It's the same thing with, I don't have to fend for myself and be totally on my own and be empowered, because sometimes empowerment is stating what you need and getting it and expecting it and asking for it, and understanding it. And I do now. So when it comes to my relationship, as you guys could probably see, this is a lot of why I've had really bad issues, particularly in romantic relationships, because I have this push-pull. I have this need. I tend to go for, especially in recent years, but I tend to go for very nurturing men that really want to care for me, because I really need that. But I resist it because I'm afraid that it's going to lead to control. And I'm understanding now that not only have I likely made the right decisions with who I'm choosing to date and all this stuff, any fears that I've had have been proven incorrect through years of experience and even trials and tests and all these things within my relationship. But I'm also seeing that I do have support from other people in my life, and they aren't controlling me either. And it's a really big revelation to me, because as soon as I understood what it is that I really needed, and it's very confusing for me because I am male, but I'm just so incredibly feminine. I'm very much like a woman inside. And I have to come to terms with that too. I have to just accept that. I was upset about it, to be honest, because I was like, gosh, this sucks. I felt kind of gypped. But then I realized, because my mom told me, you shouldn't feel gypped. At least you don't have a period. And I'm like, I guess that's true. I mean, I kind of do right now because of my health journey, but it's not going to be that way forever. But I kind of I understood, or understand who I am more. And coming to terms with that and being at peace with it has greatly helped my physical health. It's helped orient me towards going more towards support in my life, with the biggest step I did moving here. And so this is stuff I knew on a subconscious level. I even wrote about it in my third book. So I think I knew deep down. For those of you guys that have read it or are interested in reading it, it has to do with the story that's about the mermaid. So, point is, with the stuff with my relationship kind of going towards the back burner, I'm really just starting to give him more control over things. Because I need to give him more control bit by bit and see, or not control, I guess, control over certain aspects bit by bit to see, how much I can trust him and just kind of keep going. And, he's done great in a lot of ways, and he definitely has my trust with our communication at this time. And then later we can see further, for the future. But I definitely think it's time for me to start taking steps towards that. I think it's going to really help everything. And I already am feeling so much better just within my relationships within my family and friends. And even to a certain extent with you guys, I'm understanding it. I really need support. I really do. I was dying out there. I couldn't do it. I think a masculine person would have seen the life I was living, or would have lived the life I was living and been perfectly happy. But I wasn't. I was completely miserable and literally dying. So it's just a real huge reality check, and it's something I'm taking in stride. I am losing weight, but it's not really reflecting on the scale, but it is changing. My mom told me today, she said, it looks like all of your fat is like congealing into your gut and your ass. And I was like, oh my God, Mother. What I think is happening is it's a continuation of what I've said earlier. So it's really just as the fat comes off, the skin is forming. So the weight is not going down. When it comes to the belly and the ass, the belly might just take a very long time to go down, or it might be one of the last things to go down, or it has to do with high cortisol levels, which I am attempting yoga, and I have gone to the gym and been walking and stuff to try to rectify. The yoga has been incredibly painful and horrible, but it is helpful, especially certain stretches with my back. My lower back in particular has not been as locked because I have done certain stretches. Have really, really helped me. And I need to continue with it, especially on my upper back. My whole back is locked. Just through so much stress from living that way, from taking on those things, and, from always being the strong one and that kind of stuff. Like, I am very stressed. I'm very depleted, like I said. So if I'm not posting as much, or I'm not like going live as much, like, in all honesty, it's because I am really depleted from the past few years, and I'm really trying to recover and heal. Because last year for me, it was very, 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 very difficult. It was definitely a bottoming out for me on a lot of different levels. It was very difficult for my soul to live that way because it was so extreme. And sometimes I think, we go through extremes to really learn lessons, and now I know to be going in the other direction. So I'm really happy deep down, but there's so much work to do. There's so much healing and rebuilding to go forward with, and that includes in every aspect of my life. This is my Saturn return. This is a big deal. So I think you guys are really a part of that, which is nice, but not completely, because like I said, luckily my Saturn return is very private. So anything that's really, really intense or really, really deep, it's really just for me. But I will share, whatever I can, whatever I want to. But I just want to say once again, you guys, thank you so much for watching and listening, and, to a certain extent being a part of this journey. I am getting better. No, it doesn't seem like it, but I am. My health is definitely improving over time, week by week, month by month. My mental health is greatly improving, especially this diet, this lifestyle, this way of doing things. It has done wonders for my mental health. That is still the number one thing that I have seen. It is not perfect, but it is so much better than it used to be. Every day used to be a battle, and now, a day once every 2 weeks, or a day or so once a week is a battle, not every single day. So that's a huge shift, and I'm very thankful for it. And I'm very thankful in general for a lot of things. I'm thankful to be reaching certain conclusions. So with that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and go. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Bye.